The haunt of jackals shall become a swamp. The grass shall become reeds and rushes. A highway shall be there, and it shall be called the Holy Way. The unclean shall not travel on it, but it shall be for God's people. No traveler, not even fool, shall go astray. No lion shall be there, nor shall any ravenous beast come upon it. They shall not be found there, but the redeemed shall walk there. And the ransomed of the Lord shall return, and come to Zion with singing. Everlasting joy shall be upon their heads. They shall obtain joy and gladness, and sorrow and sighing shall flee away. You may be seated. I want to talk to you tonight about God's stimulus package.
Yeah, he told me earlier today when I talked to him.
Did he?
My brothers and my sisters, the current state of the American economy has had many feeling as though they have become lost in a financial wilderness. The rapid decline of global markets has left multitudes pushing the panic button of despair and headed downward on the elevator of despondency. The national economic crisis, which America finds itself in, has dominated the headlines of morning newspapers as well as evening broadcasts. Talk show hosts and internet blogs and websites have arisen voicing opinions about what the government should or should not do to hasten the end of an ongoing disastrous financial collapse of epic proportions. Even the historic inauguration of the first African-American president was cast in the shadow of an economic downturn filled with unrealistic expectations for economic stability with no end in sight. With foreclosures at an all-time high, unemployment skyrocketing to the highest levels in 35 years, retirement savings and college education funds evaporating into thin air. It does not take an astrophysicist or a nuclear chemist to understand that we are in need of a stimulus package. Nothing appears to be safe from the economic misfortune that we face. No business is safe, no industry is secure, no job is reliable, and no money is completely guaranteed. Homes are not stable. Families are falling apart. Life is not valued, and veracity appears to have a stranglehold on justice. And when I consider the condition of our economy and the state of our community, it is clear that we are indeed in need of a stimulus package. Yet I am not talking of a stimulus package which originates in the United States Congress or even in the White House, lost in the pettiness of partisan politics while God's people continue to suffer. Not the stimulus that too many of us are anticipating, which may never trickle down to our cities and neighborhoods. Not the $700 billion already appropriated to the likes of Wall Street bankers, or the $170 billion given to AIG or Bank of America in order to fund their lavish weekends in Las Vegas and pay out big bonuses to executives, believing that all's well that ends okay, when everyone else only receives nothing but a layoff notice saying thank you and have a nice day. I stopped by here tonight because I want to talk to you, Caravan, about God's stimulus package. Do you know what God's stimulus package is? That was a bill written by God, signed in the blood on Calvary, and ratified by the Holy Ghost at Pentecost. I'm here to talk about God's stimulus package tonight. God's stimulus package is not like a government stimulus package, where the government stimulus equates to the least, the last, and the lost. God's stimulus package understands that in a society which is privatized, polarized, and paralyzed, justice is not a request, but a demand. It is against that backdrop, my sisters and my brothers, that the prophet Isaiah had to proclaim God's truth to a divided kingdom. The children of Israel awaited and anticipated God's stimulus package, even though they were living in a dead time, living in an exiled place, and living dry in their hearts. Do you know what it means to wait on God, brothers and sisters, when you have to live in a dry place? Are you in need? Are you desiring? Are you wanting God's stimulus package at a time that life has left you dry, drained, and depleted? The people of Judah knew something about looking for God in life's dry places. Crammed somewhere between the Mediterranean Sea and the desert of the Arabian Peninsula lied the kingdom of Judah, somewhere in the 8th century BC. Yet the people of Judah were threatened by more than an encroaching desert wasteland. During the time of the divided kingdom, Judah was little more than a ping pong ball being slapped back and forth between the powers of the Assyrian and the Babylonian Empire. They lived in exile. They lived in captivity. They lived in bondage. They lived in a dry place, and they lived in need of God's stimulus package. Does somebody know what I'm talking about, Caravan? It was a dry time for the Israelites. It was a dry time then, and it's a dry time now. Morally, we have compromised our commitment to humanity for the destruction of war and the selective allure of the me, myself, and my space generation. Politically, we have exchanged the promises of justice and liberty for all with mean-spirited policies rooted in the politics of fear and hatred. Socially, we have devalued human life, devalued it to a point where violence and murder have become acceptable options to resolve conflicts and strife. Economically, we have replaced our obligation to provide resources and opportunity for the poor and the disenfranchised with an insatiable appetite for power and greed. Spiritually, even in the church, we have co-opted God's light for the sake of misguided prosperity and a misinformed gospel. Where are the prosperity preachers at? Where are they when God is in need of giving a stimulus package to a group of people losing themselves in life's dry places? Somebody here tonight needs to feel the power of God's stimulus package. Somebody needs to touch God's stimulus package in the midst of your dry place. Somebody here is walking even in the season of Lent, lost in one life's wastelands. Somebody here has lost their joy amongst the wilderness. Life's dry places have left the discouraged and defeated, scorched under the heat of the devil's sun, trying to cry out, how long, oh Lord, how long, oh Lord, must it be? Too many dry places of the world. While God's people wait for a fading joy to relieve life's pain and turmoil, somebody